U.S. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo arrived in Saudi Arabia on a visit expected to highlight regional issues including Iran, Yemen, Syria and the death of journalist Jamal Khashoggi. He was greeted by Saudi Foreign Minister for the start of the two-day visit, which is expected to include a meeting with Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman. Saudi Arabia is the last stop in a regional tour, which included stops in Abu Dhabi and Cairo to shore up support for the U.S. troop withdrawal from Syria. While in Qatar, U.S. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo said that a rift between Doha and its Arab Gulf neighbors had gone on for too long. Speaking at a news conference in the Qatari capital, Doha, Pompeo said disputes were not helpful when regional countries had a common challenge. Saudi Arabia, the UAE, Bahrain and non-Gulf Cooperation Council member Egypt cut diplomatic, transport and trade ties with Qatar in June 2017, accusing it of supporting terrorism and the regional foe Iran, something that Doha denies. The Syrian government says it hopes a dialogue with Syrian Kurdish groups will intensify, signaling support for talks the Kurds hope will lead to a political deal between two of the main players in the multi-sided war. The Kurds have sought Russian mediation for the talks with President Bashar al-Assad government, part of their strategy to fill a vacuum that will be left when U.S. forces withdraw from the country, as instructed by President Donald Trump. The Kurds' main aim is to guard against any invasion by neighboring Turkey. A massive winter storm rolled eastwards to the mid-Atlantic U.S. after dropping more than a foot of snow on parts of the Midwest and killing at least 7 people in highway accidents. Washington was forecast to receive almost a half foot of snow, forcing airlines to cancel over 100 flights. Now, French far-right leader Le Pen launched her European Union elections campaign, saying it was an opportunity to beat Macron and reach out to the anti-government Yellow Vest protest movement that has taken France by storm. She has called on Yellow Vest protesters to make the EU vote a referendum on Macron's policies. The Yellow Vest have become a broad and often violent movement demanding more social justice for low-skilled workers left behind by globalization, deregulation and EU integration. Now, Italy's Interior Minister Matteo Salvini has praised Brazilian President Jair Bolsonaro and police for capturing former leftist guerrilla Cesar Battisti, who was arrested in Bolivia. Battisti, who has been on the run for almost 4 decades after escaping prison following a murder conviction, will be extradited to Italy. Referring to Battisti as a damned criminal, Salvini said he hoped the fugitive would be in Italy by today. Battisti faces life in prison in his home country, where he was convicted of 4 murders committed in the 1970s. The mayor of a Polish city was stabbed by a man who burst into an open-air stage at a national charity event. Television footage showed the man screaming that Adam Ovich is dead because his former party's civic platform, which held power from 2007 to 2015, had purportedly tortured him when he was in prison. The mayor was attending the final of the annual Great Orchestra of Christmas charity event. Three German skiers were found dead and a 4th is missing after they were swept away in an avalanche near the Austrian ski resort. The group of 4 had been using touring skis, which enable skiers to climb as well as ski down slopes and explore off as well. Now, heavy snow has hit the Austrian Alps in the past week, raising avalanche warnings and cutting off local roads. The warning level in the area above 2,000 meters was 3 on a scale that goes up to 5. Greece's defense minister has resigned in protest at de-ending a long-running dispute with Macedonia over its name, clouding the future of the coalition government months before national elections. Defense minister, whose right-wing Independent Greeks party props up the government of Prime Minister Alexis Tsipras, has long opposed the accord with neighboring Macedonia signed by the government last year. The defense minister said he would also pull his ministers from his party out of the government. Christian worshippers and visitors performed a baptism ceremony on banks of the Jordan River to celebrate Epiphany. Christmas from Israel, the West Bank and abroad gathered at a place where Jesus is believed to have been baptized. The site in the Israeli-occupied West Bank opened in 2011 and has stairs from pilgrims to descend into the muddy river. It has more visitors than the Jordanian site. Egyptian President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi is in Amman to hold talks with Jordan's King Abdullah. The leaders are expected to discuss the latest development in the region, including the Palestinian-Israel conflict. The meeting comes a few days after U.S. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo visited both Jordan and Egypt on his tour to the Middle East after U.S. President Donald Trump's surprise announcement last month of an abrupt withdrawal of all 2,000 U.S. troops from Syria. Yemeni Houthi group has threatened to launch more drone attacks after a deadly strike last week on a Yemeni government military parade, stoking tensions between the warring parties amid UN peace efforts. A Houthi said drone strike on a military base which killed several people was a legitimate operation. He said the movement was building a stockpile of locally manufactured drones to be able to launch multiple drone operations on several fronts at the same time. Saudi Arabia has again come to the rescue of the government in Islamabad. Riyadh said it plans to set up a $10 billion oil refinery in Pakistan's deep-water port of Gwadar. Pakistan struggles to attract investments and other financial support to tackle a soaring current account deficit caused partly by rising oil prices. Last year, Saudi Arabia offered Pakistan a $6 billion package that included help to finance crude imports. A sea turtle was rescued and set free to the sea after it was found stranded on a beach in South China's Henan province. A sea turtle was first spotted by tourists before they called the police on site. After the police arrived, they found the sea turtle was lying on its back on the beach. The big turtle, around 95 centimeters long and 76 centimeters wide, was too weak to crawl on the beach. An exceptionally large wooden sculpture which measures 6 meters long, 4.3 meters high and 1.5 meters thick was finally unveiled recently in a southwestern Chinese city. It took 4 years and more than 100 Chinese and Burmese artists to make the gigantic carving on an entire Burmese rosewood root based on the traditional Chinese painting hundreds of birds paying homage to the phoenix. Apple's mobile phones are recently going through a price reduction wave on the Chinese market due to the company's weak business performance, with the latest iPhone model dropping as much as $207 in some places. Now, due to the unexpected low sales, Apple's mobile phones experienced a big price cut in the Chinese market. Now, in an electronics store in Shanghai, all the iPhone products from iPhone 7 to the latest model have been labeled with a price drop. Now, the head of Venezuela's opposition-controlled parliament was briefly detained days after he said he was ready to assume the country's presidency. Juan Guaidó was traveling to a rally when intelligence agents intercepted his car north of the capital. Storm Norma hit Lebanon and severely damaged some local places, with a Syrian refugee camp in the mountainous areas in Bekaa Valley most affected. The storm led to the sinking of the tents either by snow or water under difficult humanitarian conditions in the camp. There was no heating and no food, with temperatures in some areas below 10 degrees Celsius. Congress President Rahul Gandhi, who is currently in Dubai to woo Indian diaspora before 2019 general elections, has said his party will simplify the goods and services tax and take rational economic decisions to attract foreign investments if voted back to power. The Congress president also said his main priority would be to create jobs, rebuild confidence in institutions such as the Reserve Bank of India, whose governor resigned recently after a fight over autonomy with the government. The Aam Aadmi Party has said its convener and Delhi Chief Minister Arvind KEJRIWAL will not contest from Varanasi in the coming Lok Sabha elections, but the party said it will field a strong candidate from the seat. Party's Rajya Sabha MP Sanjay Singh said the AAP party will contest on all Lok Sabha seats in Delhi, Punjab, Haryana and Goa. Now, the Indian Foreign Minister Sushma Swaraj, who is on a two-day visit to Uzbekistan to participate in the India-Central Asia dialogue, said New Delhi is committed to economic reconstruction of Afghanistan. This year's meeting saw participation of Afghanistan for the first time. During the dialogue, India has proposed setting up a group, India-Central Asia Development Group, to take the relationship forward and to derive concrete proposals. The Supreme Court will today hear an appeal filed by former Congress leader Sajjan Kumar challenging the Delhi High Court's December 17 verdict sentencing him to life imprisonment in the 1984 anti-Sikh rights case. His appeal against the High Court's verdict is scheduled to be heard by a bench headed by Chief Justice Ranjan Gogoi. In a bid to make the fairgrounds open, defecation-free, authorities in Prayagraj have built over 100,000 toilets for pilgrims attending Kumbh Mela. Sanitation and hygiene are two main areas that authorities are trying to be vigilant upon. Toilets have been built in all of the important spots and all over in general in order to meet the drinking water needs of the pilgrims. The authorities have installed over 50 reverse osmosis water ATMs as well.